New Testament hi isim tingale Christian te hi dan thun om ta poita veltam ta apostle Paul hanang elawali New Testament writer han veltam ta stress abolo hin asayo hin ai wanga mi phasa pi khachun o Christian te chu New Testament apom vin New Testament achun Old Testament dan hi om ta poeti vin hi chi achu Christian te hin chon sit na ake phaldan asei ve ta asei hu cho hi chu hi lo hin New Testament hi New Covenant hai. Old Testament chu Old Covenant hai. New Testament Covenant achi dan to Old Testament Covenant achi dan achu ma hin hi chu he te khan de hin hi ta banga chu Old Testament dan an ki pi ho an chu New Testament dan ki pi to achu mi ki den achi dan nang function dan nang achum chum hong hi so ke hin hi chi dan thu chung chang hoi ta he the na de wa chu Covenant hang ki sim dan he ngai ho hin Old Testament dan ki pi zo si chu abon che ke ya Old Covenant na a ho ba hin New Testament na dan hong ki pi zo si chu New Covenant a ho ba hin tun hi chi detail ai lut masang ma chu Old Testament Covenant hong ki sim dan chu het ngai ho hin I het du ha chu Old Covenant system elawala Old Testament na chu dan hi 613 a hin jogop la som thu ma hin hi cho chang si chu a bon che ke ya Old Covenant ki ti hin a summarize na dinga chu a bon che ke a hop the na dinga chu 10 commandment hin mi abang khaloi chun 10 commandment chu moral principle in moral commandment hin adang si chu commandment moral he poita ase chu hi chi a het khelo hin Old Testament na he commandment hi pathin na pi tama tam cho ai wang hi cho chang si chu summarize form 10 commandment hun summarize abol hin hi ta se ding a bridge edition ta bang hin vetsa an example ase ding Indian constitution hi asawa saw cho ai wang India constitution chu na la chom theya summarize na bol na chu preamble hi cho he chi preamble chun India constitution chu summarize bol represent bol cho he chi ta panga chu 10 commandment hin Old Testament covenant system a commandment tam ta chu summarize bola represent bol he bo cho he chi chu he theme de hin he chi 10 commandment hi choma ka sei de hin video chu manana vet the hin app de la tu na ka holim ding he Old Covenant system hong ki sim dan chu kahin hilchen dehin Exodus chapter 19 hone se male Israel te he Sinai mola hong ta cho Sinai mola hong ta aban kera pathinin akko ta cho hichlai he Israel te covenant system hichi kitip na luya cho hong lu do cho Exodus chapter 19 verse 3 revelation then Moses went up to God and the Lord called to him from mountain this is what you are to tell to the house of Jacob and explain to the sons of Israel Verse 4 You have seen for yourself what I did to Egypt and how I carried you on eagle's wing and brought you to myself. Verse 5 Now if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you will be you will be my treasured possession out of all the nation, for the whole earth is mine. Verse 6 You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. So Moses went back and summoned the elders of the people and said before them all the words of the Lord had commanded him. Verse 8 And all the people answered together, We will do everything that the Lord has spoken. So Moses brought their word back to the Lord. Aban kira na simala chapter 22 10 commandments say cho. So Israel te Sinai ahong wahim pathin to kinup tu na hong ta cho. Covenant na hunglu tao cho pathinin kasai jo se hina bolwala no hi priest nation na hi diwe you'll be a kingdom of priests ati jo ida chu pathin commandment pe jo se chu Israel ten all that the Lord say we will do cha chu kinup tu tao cho pathina se jo se chu ka bol diwe ti cho hi chi affirmation cho an pe cho aban kira verse chapter 20 cho pathin 10 commandment cho pe cho 10 commandment api aban kira anna su simala chapter 21 22 23 24 ta ka cho pon se kya 10 commandment ki philowa other laws or sabat han ang aban kira civil law na ipi hideng abon se kya detail api cho it's line detail and cover ka bol pon e wa na sim the we hin ala chapter 24 to version Then the Lord said to Moses, Come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, and Nahab and Abihu, and 70 of elders, and you are to worship at a distance. Moses alone shall approach the Lord, but the other must not come near, and the people may not go up with him. Verse 3 When Moses came and told the people all the words and all the names of the Lord, they all respond with one voice. All the words that the Lord has spoken, we will do. This one second time a conformable also. Covenant system also Israel te to pathin hong kinop to ta so pathin chin ka se hoina bol wala ka bless ka bol du aban kira you shall be a kingdom of priests na aban kira Israel te no he na se yo shi to ka bol du beta affirmation bowa hila to covenant na hong lu ro cho. Verse 4, and Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. Early the next morning, he got up and built an altar at the base of the mountain, and along with 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 5, then he set out some young men of Israel, and they offered burnt offering and sacrificed young bull as a peace offering to the Lord. Verse 6, Moses took half of the blood and put it in a bowl, and other half he sprinkled on the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people, and they replied, all that the Lord has spoken we will do, and we will be obedient. So the third time Israel said no, anup now cho pi cho kanum ve hi cho covenant na kalu dewe pathina se ne ase yo si cho kanup dewe ta se cho cha cho mosin jang thisan cho bongchal thisan cho la mi pi ho ko ma cho a the cho na. Verse 9, then Moses went up with Aaron, Nahab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was a walk like a pavement made up of sapphire, as clear as the sky itself. But God did not lay his hand on the nobles of Israel. They saw him, and they ate and drank. So, pathin Israel te to covenant and se makinip to na hango ma he. Azo kasi mabanga Israel te chun kinup to na an pi jawa chu pathin to kinup to na an bola covenant honglu cho ya chu Israel te no obligation nei cho pathin ase yo se cho abo de cho abo wala thidi hi cho. And aban kita verse 24 verse 9 to 10 revelation pathin no akim sa cho interesting hin vision hi lo hin ya chu pathin to pathin anga chu Israel elders chu ne ane homwa acha homwa, and they saw the God of Israel te cho pathin no akim sa cho. And it's interesting that it's the same pattern to Jesus Christ Last Supper and Bolso. Last Supper so ne homa bolwa covenant na sim atisana kitip na tha so an pi cho. Exodus chapter 19 apasa 24 so even thing ala Israel te to pathin hong kinup to na covenant so asai cho. So covenant hong kisim dan so biham tela Israel ten jang anup ngai pathin nang anup ngai Israel te chun adawa la covenant so na sim thelo cho ewang anup na cho na pi wa pa cha cho. Israel te hi pathin to covenant system hung lu thi cho he chu covenant system cho 10 commandment jang sa cho 10 commandment cho a basic pillar ta bang cho aban ke na su sim ke dala. Verse 31 to version, and when the Lord finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the covenant law, the tablets of the stone inscribed by the finger of God. Chapter 24 to version na su simale Moses to pathin to kasi ko 24 25 26 chapter 25 26 27 22 30 ta ka cho pathinin du sondan sabat hanang feast hanang abana civil law han ipila apon che detail api chun na sim thewin aban kira api zo wa hi pathinin a summarize a thilo si api na summarize a so 10 commandments so tablets of the stone api cho aban kira Exodus chapter 31 cho no su simala his tablets so hong annung cho ya hongwa hi Israel te chun golden calf ani sim ta cho he ji yo hi Moses lo hanga tablet cho su ke cho asu se na and aban kira chapter 33 lang cho no sim ke dala pathinin he ji tablet cho tha sim ke cho covenant cho tha sim ke cho. Exodus chapter 34 verse 20 to listen. So Moses was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights without eating bread or drinking water. He wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. So Sinai covenant commandment tam tapi la chu 10 commandments to summarize about so 10 commandments to the basic pillar. He is the words of the covenant cho. Sinai covenant ajo kasima banga commandment tam tapi cho he cho 10 commandments representable cho 10 commandments to detail akase ki tinga choma nanavet thewen apan ki Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 13 revelation he declared to you his covenant the 10 commandments which he commanded you to follow, and then he wrote them on the two stone tablet that is. So 10 commandment itself 10 commandments to Sinai covenant na embodiment tabang cho a basic pillar tabang cho. His 10 commandments so other laws other 613 chun interpretable so example a setting a 10 commandments so thou shalt not steal it so evanga na su sim kedala mi khaden thilana gu ku evanga agu nai lo wala ipitin til dam ai lo wala gancha khat na gancha chun midang koma ai lo wala fila chu alo wa chun aga ni an su se la ganja chu pitin lo dam ti explainable cho other law chun explainable cho ten commandment chun stealing a sei wanga cho mi gu cho chu pitin bol ham ti a sei lo cho aban kira thou shall not commit thou shall not kill ati cho ten commandment na cho e wang hi chi ten commandment chun mi that ho chu pitin deal dam ti a sei lo cho ya cho other laws law adang lo hai chun law adang ki pe ho interpretable cho mi khat na thala ama pa chu na tha e wang mi khat cham cha so ra a thi nai lo wala pitin na deal dam e lo wala bong chal khatin nu me nawo phat asu se dala naw chu ma cha ti lo wala bong chal chu pitin na lo dam na hi cho tabang deal hi cho tabang topic cho ten commandment a summarize form a pi cho e wang detail interpretation cho other laws 630 interpretable cho hi chi a chu ka sei cho ten commandment cho covenant system a bon che ke embodiment tabanga summarize tabanga abori cho hi chi a cho the words of the covenant ki ti cho hi chi nyaw ta khari he de wen aban ki da covenant iti tinga le hebrew pawa cho berit hin hi chi old testament a vel tam ta ki mang hin aka ka le agreement aka ka la sign aka ka le treaty ta translatable hi cho amining chu pi ham tele hi je covenant na lu partner ho chun ama abol lo ding so ke cho kharin partner kha chun abol ding abol talo le a treaty elwa a covenant chu ke thei cho hi chi sinai covenant a ki si masanga hi covenant tam ta ni ki sim nang cho old testament na example a se ding in noe covenant noa to pathin covenant asim chu cho hijlai chu nowan abol lo de ki cho aban ki da pathin abol lo ding ki cho Genesis chapter 9 verse 13 to Velation I have set my rainbow in the cloud, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I form cloud over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and every living creature of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life at the job. So he took covenant na cho pathin nang akitip na khadam bol cho le si de tu ya ka su sit lo de ta sei cho aban kida na su si ma no wa nang abol lo de asei ki cho hi chi nowa covenant na assign chu pi ham tela rainbow cho lagu hi cho aban kidin chi wa covenant khadang ke sim khat cho Abrahamic covenant ki ti cho hi chi Abraham ma hi pathin la Abraham kinup to na abol cho Abraham in pathin cho ta san ding na aban kida pathin lang abol ding dol khat an bol ki ti cho hi chi Abrahamic covenant na assign to circumcision hi cho chapter hi cho Genesis chapter 17 verse 9 to 11 God also said to Abraham, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants in the generation after you. This is my covenant with you and your descendant after you, which you are to keep. Every male among you must be circumcised. You are to circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and this will be a sign of the covenant between me and you. Ya so Abraham to pathin covenant asima a sign to circumcision cho hi chu a covenant sign hi jing so aban kidin Sinai covenant na assigned to Biham tila Genesis chapter 31 verse 13 to Velation. Tell the Israelites, surely you must keep my Sabbath, for this will be a sign between me and you for the generation to come, so that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you. 16. The Israelite must keep the Sabbath, celebrating it as a perpetual covenant for the generation to come. It will be a sign between me and the Israelite forever. So covenant hong kisim si la elo wala hichi kinup tu na hong kisim si la hin hichi akinup tu na a sign khat ki pi cho hichi chu an jing cho noa covenant na chu rainbow lagu hi cho aban kira Abrahamic covenant na chu a sign chu circumcision chapter hi cho aban kira Sinai covenant na hi a sign chu pyo sabat hi cho ihet du khat chu he je covenant hong ki sem si phat le hin sign ki pi ho he upon a ceremonial aspect cho accept nowa he ju ihet khan deu hin aban kira he ju covenant hong ki sim phat le hin a sign ki pi hi masanga min anaman sa ho ai lo wala thil mi hon ananit sa ho chu ki pi ngei lo cho te ka kharin Abraham Sinai covenant na chu pathinin assign to sabat api cho ai wang Abraham Isaac Jacob ho chun sabat an ne kui tale Israel te ding a chu hi thailo cho Israel te to covenant na sima chu sabat cho sign a kui thailo cho epiji nam tale hi chu Israel ho ki pi masa min an kui di ta an kui hi ta cho
ka sei lo na pen chu sign of the covenant na assign hong ki pi phala it's the first time institute hong ki bol na hi yu cho te ka khara circumcision nang chu Abraham ko ma hong ki pi a chu midang hon circumcision chu covenant sign an koi na lo cho e hi chi a chu pathinin circumcision chu Abrahamic sign a koi thei cho hi chi ta banga chu sabat nang chu Israel te ki pi ma sang chu koi ma chan an koi lo cho hi chi a chu sabat chu Israel te ko ma pya covenant sign a pi thei cho hi cho covenant it is sign of covenant hi midang hon an bor sa hi na wang chun pathinin hi chu sign of covenant a api thei hi lo api thei lo cho hi chi neu cha khadi het dewin aban kira Abrahamic covenant na chu sign chu circumcision ceremonial hi cho he chi tabang cha a chu Sinai covenant na yang chu a sign chu ceremonial ma mai cho he chu sabat hi cho he chi sabat chung chang topic choma detail a cover ka bol hin nanavet thewin
tun hi chi old covenant system chu hetawin hi chi old covenant system ma hi a partner chu koi ham tila pathin to Israel te hi cho physical Israel Egypt apa chang po to ho physical Israel ho hi cho Gentile ho ke pangai lo cho ai ti ya chu hi chi covenant chu Sinai covenant ang kiti cho hi chi nyau cha khari het deu hin tu new covenant chu vela chun kitip na tha chu a function dan to ai lo wal operation a pattern ho chu old covenant to ki bangkit lo cho a chi dan chu mi ki cho Luke chapter 22 verse 19 to Revelation. And he took bread, gave thanks and broke it and gave it to them saying, this is the body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup saying, this cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. Matthew chapter 26 verse 27 to 20. So, new covenant to hong ki pet na di chu pi ham tela Jesu Christa hong thi jo wahi hong ki pen di cho ai wanga hi chi new covenant cho inaugurate abo ta cho last supper hi chi ne pat hi chi inaugurate abo jo wahi Jesu Christa thita cho a thi jo wahi new covenant a course so hong ki pen cho Hebrew chapter 8 a pat sa huna simala hi chu clear ta asai hin tun hin sim katin Hebrews chapter 8 verse 6 to 11. Now, however, Jesus has received a much more excellent ministry, just as the covenant he mediated is better and is founded on better promises. So, all covenants are a new covenant, Jesus Christ upfood covenant, so better promise. Verse 13 to 11. By calling this covenant new, he has made the first covenant obsolete. Defunct and what is obsolete and outdated will soon disappear. Aban kita ihe du khachu hichlaya hi old first covenant so akichai tai di new covenant na same cho new covenant atha khar sim ta cho hichi verse 13 jo wa cho chapter 9 a cho directly hichi obsolete covenant cho epp ham ti cho interpret and body cho explain and body cho writer pa hin Hebrews chapter 9 verse 1 to simulation. Now even the first covenant ati cho hichi obsolete akichai sa covenant so sei cho Sinai covenant so sei cho even the first covenant had regulation for worship and also an earthly sanctuary ti cho hichi akichai sa obsolete defunct covenant chun ipp aneyam ti cho explanation and body cho hichi akichai sa covenant first covenant nang chun regulation for worship and earthly sanctuary ne aneye ti so hichi regulation for worship hichi chun pp ho bam tila sacrifice offering aban kira sabat new moon feast ki ho jo si chu regulation for worship ki ti cho pathin a ho na diu rules and regulation nang cho hichi obsolete covenant first covenant akichai sa covenant na cho a ho bi cho a tabernacle was prepared in the first room where lampstand in its first room were lampstand and the taper and the consecrated bread. This was called the holy place. Behind the second curtain was a room called the most holy place, containing the golden altar of incense and the gold-covered ark of covenant. Inside the ark were the gold jar of manna, Aaron's staff that had budded, and the stone tablets of the covenant. Above the ark were the cherubims of glory overshadowing the atonement cover. But we cannot discuss these things in detail now. So writer pahin PSM tila new covenant hong ki pantai ti cho kitip na tha chong ki pantai ti cho ai wang hi kitip na lui chu explainable cho hi kitip na lui defunct pa ai level obsolete covenant chu epp a ho bom tila 10 commandment ang sei cho tablets of the stone say cho na aban ki regulation for worship jang zao cho. That means regulation for worship itile sacrifice offering aban ki worship system ane ke mang aban ki deo worship sabat new moon feast ki ho zo si cho regulation for worship a chu cho. That means hi cho yang cho obsolete ta cho ki chai tai ti cho. And aban ki the stone tablets of the covenant ati cho hi chiang cho obsolete a sei ta cho obsolete covenant a za wa ti cho. Stone tablets of covenant to piong 10 commandment hi cho aban ki hi 10 commandment a cho sabat jang zao ki cho 4 commandment hi cho. So a writer pa him PCM tela hi new covenant hang ki si ma hi old covenant a ki chai tai ti cho obsolete tai ti cho hi obsolete a cho pp jawn te regulation for worship aban ki stone tablets 10 commandment aban ki sabat jang a zao thai ti cho ji obsolete covenant a cho a ki chai tai ti cho. Aban ki verse na su simale high priest in hi holy place elawala most holy place a sacrifice a portion and explain and body so verse 11 to 11. But when Christ came as a high priest of the good things that have come, he went through the greater and most perfect tabernacle that is not made by hand and is not a part of this creation. He did not enter by the blood of God and calves, but he entered the most holy place once and for all by his own blood, thus securing eternal redemption. So, Jesus Christ na thisana so ai tia eternal ta cho I hodinga past and future and present hinale hi chi thisan ki so chu I ho chon sit na perfect cho. Verse 15, for this reason Christ is the mediator of the new covenant, that those who are called may receive the promise of eternal inheritance, now that he died as a ransom to set them free from the sins committed under the first covenant. For where a covenant is, there must of necessity be the death of the one who made it. It must be the necessity for the death of the covenant may cultivate. Amining chi piham tila hi chi covenant khat ang atha khat ang kisim na dinga cho hi chi a covenant may kal pa cho thi ma sat ngai cho chi phat la bo chun hi chi a covenant kisim cho effect hong hi beb de ti cho hi chi chu Jesus Christ a sei cho Jesus Christ cho a thi ma sanga cho covenant cho effect nai lo cho a thi jo phat la bo hi chi new covenant cho a course so hong ki pen beb de ti cho. For a covenant is valid only when a people are dead, for it is never enforced well the one who made it live. Therefore, not even the first covenant was inaugurated without blood. For when every commandment of the law had been declared by Moses to all the people, he took the blood of the calves and goats and with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book itself and all the people, saying, "This is the blood of the covenant which God has commanded you to keep." So first covenant, Sinai covenant nang so thisanjao lowa analut lobo cho. Ajo first part aka sei cho. He covenant alut masang wa cho thisana motion thisan cho mijo si ko ma sprinkle bola he ija cho kitip na cho lut lo cho he jita banga cho new covenant nang cho thisan jaw lo lut lo cho he chu Jesus Christ thisan aso phat labo aso jo wa new covenant cho ki pen bebe ti cho he chu new cho khari he devin aban ki da chalai verse 19 na he sprinkled the book itself ati cho he chu Exodus chapter 24 the book of the covenant ati chu thakari cho he chu new cho khari he devin Exodus chapter 24 la cho Mosin pathin in 10 commandments stone tablet rapi nai lo cho ai wang asai jo si chu Mosin anajit lu ra lekha chu phat ajit cho he chu book of the covenant hi cho tam abon se ga a hope tha hin cha cho pathina sai jo si chu cha cho ajit ha cho but a real embodiment ai lo wala representation summarize ai lo wala Sinai covenant preamble tabang ding ti di da na hin a pilal dinga cho 10 commandments cho pe cho stone tablet ra he chu Bible and the words of the covenant ati cho hitutun entire Sinai covenant ceremonial hanang feast hanang se ai lawale ipi ha tang hitiyang la hichi 10 commandments represent abo cho summarize form cho hichi het khan dewen aban kira hichi new covenant he ipiding a superior jo ham tela hichi new covenant na he a partner he mihim ki jaw talo cho Israel tiang jaw talo cho a partner chu ko ham tela papathin chapato lagaw thing cho am ho hi partner hita cho all covenant na cho partner chu pathin to Israel te cho Israel te chu mi hi ma hi je ba cho khadwe be chong fail te te cho he chi a chu all covenant cho anal ho zo lo cho he ya chu new covenant hong ki pi kha cho he chi new covenant wa cho ai tia fail te te lo di cho a yi cho partner chu mi him zau te lo cho pa pathin to chapa to lagaw thing hita cho amo thum hi ai tia a duty e lo wala a covenant rules tung ya cho umum jing ding cho aban kita faithful hizing di hi cho ai ti ajo new covenant cho superior cho Isaiah chapter 42 verse 6 ko lachan I the Lord have called you for a righteous purpose. I will take hold of your hand. I will keep you and appoint you to be a covenant for the people and a light to the Gentile, to open the eyes of the blind, to bring prisoner out of the dungeon and those sitting in darkness out from the prison house. A context of lachan Messiah kisen hi cho Messiah cho Jesus Christ cho new covenant hi cho he is the covenant himself. Now I will appoint you to be a covenant for the people ti cho new covenant na hi a partner cho pa pathin to chapa to lagaw thing hi cho ai wanga hi chi a covenant mama cho Jesus Christ hi cho he is the covenant himself ama cho a covenant hi jing cho embodiment hi jing cho mi bang khaloin hi chi Isaiah chapter 42 verse 6 Israel ki se na ye ti cho but a context even na vedal Israel ki se na ye na cho I had to go to Israel to vanuli sida miyosi intel human race represent boarding apathin alhando cho aitia cho Exodus chapter 19 verse 6 cho you shall be to me a kingdom of priests ati cho Israel te chon leisi intel human race pathin anga represent body cho hetia cho kingdom of priests kiti cho ai wang Israel te chon a purpose cho fulfillable to lo cho they fail hetia cho Israel te in fulfill abol lo zo lo ta ja cho Messiah hunga Messiah to proper Israel cho he represent entire nation of Israel and also he represent entire humanity before the Father. Messiah to Israel te representative hung cho Israel te to entire human race representative cho that means Messiah to entire human race representable cho chu head him the way aban kita Isaiah chapter 49 verse 8 revelation thus say the Lord in the time of favor I have answered you in the day of salvation I have helped you. I will keep you and give you as a covenant to the people to establish the land to apportion the desolate heritage. So Isaiah chapter 42 to 49 huna simala a context to Israel hicho. Israel had to to Israel te pathin purpose api cho anathan to cho they will to be light to the Gentile amohapat sa cho pathinin leisi his salvation dinga anpi hi cho leisi hi hu hingna dinga chu Israel te cho na hlan do cho ai wanga Israel te chu fail ta cho hi chia chu achapa cho an so cho hi chia achapa chu Israel ten abol di do zo si chu Jesus Christ upon ka completion bo cho ai ti cho Old Testament na Israel te nation ki se na ho Jesus Christ ki sai cho Jesus is the proper Israel he represent entire Israelite to God. Aban kita he represent entire humanity before the Father. Na, ya so entire humanity so si Israel ten representable so aban kita Israel te a fail part wa so Messiah hin Israel te tha hela so behalf wa so representable so hi ya so Isaiah chapter 42 to 49 na Israel te ki se na pen so Messiah apply ki body so chi het him de wen apan kir azo akasima banga new covenant system hi a partner cho pa pathin to sapato lagaw thing cho mi him te cho partner ke hitalo cho ya chu i chon si jang le thil khat e bor hi long le hi chu covenant cho a ke na rilam pim talo cho aji chu i ho partner ke hitalo cho all covenant na cho Israel te cho partner hi ja cho Israel ten thil khat ana bor hi wala covenant cho ana ke cho e wanga new covenant cho mi him te partner ke hitalo cho e te chu mi him ki chon sian nang ipi ki tiang le hi covenant so ke thei talo ri so a partner ke hitalo so Hebrews chapter 9 verse 14 ko velachan how much more will the blood of Christ who through the eternal spirit like Holy Spirit jawin Christ ang jaw oban kira eternal spirit Holy Spirit say na hin offer himself unblemished to God at the purify our conscience from works of death so that we may serve the living God. Therefore Christ is the mediator of the new covenant so that those who are called may receive the eternal inheritance now that he has died to redeem them from the transgression committed under the first covenant. So in the new covenant ay sapato lagaw thinto papathinya partner hita cho I ho partner ke hitalo cho we are just recipient a benefit pa bo cho ihon imu cho I ho chon sit banga covenant cho aki chai na lam pim talo cho ai te chi jing ning ta cho hi chu covenant chu pem tele new covenant ai chapa hin amala ma hung kipi do kitip na tabang cho covenant hi hung kipi do I ho dinga hung thia aban kira amang thia wa hagau thing I ho cho chapa to konik bola aban kira papa thina nga inum puilu ro cho hi chi kitip na hi chi new covenant cho superior cho eitia cho ajo ka se ma panga new covenant cho always superior cho ai cho it will always last forever aban kira mi him chon sit wanga kisuke deng hi talo cho aban kira hi new covenant nai mi mo hi we are the recipient I ho hi benefit pa ki mo cho na aban kira hi chu eternal inheritance cho
Isaiah 49 to 42 chu thasim na chun Jesus Christ chu covenant ne ti cho aban kira hi chun pi avat samtala he is also our covenant keeper amma chu holding a covenant keeper hi cho mi he mi by nature imi hi now hi pathin rules and regulation commandment moral principle ki teo hi 100% ki zui do thelo cho hi chu I ho capability yang hi talo cho ai ti a chu I ho tha khela I ho representative of Jesus Christian hi chi rules and regulation mi hi min azui di zo si cho perfect a I ho tha khela azui cho that is why he is our covenant keeper hi chi a chu Jesus Christ a chu covenant ki ti cho hi chu thamcha khat he thim de wen tun old covenant system to new covenant as ki sim dan le a function dan chu he ta win old covenant system a chu particular ta Sinai covenant a chu a mediator chu koyong Moses cho Exodus chapter 20 chu na simala pathin in 10 commandment thu som an pi a he Sinai mulong chu pura mei na tum yeng cho ling ke ho la mi pi ho chi ki cha ta cho e ji yo pha da mi pi ho hin Moses ko ma cho direct ta ke ho la pathin ke ni ke ho sa hi win na ke ho ke ka nang palai hong pangin ta a seu cho hilai pa cha cho Moses cho old covenant Sinai covenant cho mediator hi cho Moses mang cha cho pathin in commandment api zo si cho moral principle han nang 10 commandment han nang civil law han nang ceremonial hite yang le a bon chi ke cho law of Moses ki ti cho aban ki da new covenant a cho immediate ro cho Jesus Christ hi cho Jesus Christ chu I hodinga new covenant mediator cho ai tia cho aman api zo si aman thu ase aman commandment pi zo si cho new covenant a dinga a law hi jing cho he chu detail a kan cover de hin nan vet theo hin